Propaganda is the most positive propaganda, and if this book doesn't open the friendathon, telethon, so to speak, I base fully on, of the entire concept of Jerry Lewis's telethons, except we don't want any money. Never. It has to be the one thing in America that is just not legal. Do you know how many casualties, I don't even want to get into it, with hate and war and the justification of billions of dollars and You mean to tell me we just can't take a risk on love? Well, of course there's going to be problems. I'm insane. I've been in psychiatric wards. But I'm telling you, the overall kumbaya will be astounding. And this book is only propaganda. The most positive, again. Prop up, push up, everyone gainer. So, I am hoping, there was a saying in advertising, says, if you light yourself on fire, people will stand around and watch you burn. They will. So, in my life, I have endless chips on my shoulder, but I've never been let in, and I pick up the undertow, I pick up many frequencies. So I've never been let in. I have never fit in. And when I was 46, I went ba-ba-ba-ba after 3 failed businesses. But they still had to fit in, and I got to do all that, schmooze and schmooze. Ended up in bed. The first business I ever was going to do was, honestly, there's so many things wrong with me, but the balance of anything is, is there anything on the other side? I don't take credit for it. Gifts are gifts. They're injected DNA. Boom, boom, bang. But I was told it was 10 years into Turn a Frown Around. We're doing a lot on colleges. And they asked, one of the kids after, it was part of the inner nucleus. So, I love this guy, Alan. And he asked me, actually, I don't know if it was Alan. I take that back. I just see myself in that little room in Montclair State University in New Jersey, with the, so to speak, the core of the smile station of that college. So, but we were really getting to know each other. Things were starting to happen. The Fashion Coffee House is working. Wow, I couldn't believe these kids. Holy mackerel. All I wanted to do was recruit at colleges. But anyway, so whoever was in that group said, well, we hear you rap all the time, What were those 3 failed businesses before you started Turn a Frown Around at age 46? And the other 2 aren't important because I couldn't believe what the kid told me. And said it out loud. There's, 10 people there, 15. Might have been one of our orientation meetings, actually. But anyway, so this guy said to me, after I explained everything, because I have this microscopic mind, and I have a wasp eye, and I see all these TVs at the same time, and everything is important, because one, even if it's tiny or minor, it kind of plays into the the boop. And I finished blah, 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 because they were all really interested in my personal life now. And he really said to me, he called me Screwy Drewy, and he said, do you realize you created the first Craigslist with no computer? I meditated on that for a while, a long time. I didn't really understand it, but I did. Anyway, home improvement helper. When I got very sick and out of my mind, and everything I built, I just watch it go, because my father was a micromanager, my brother was a micromanager, and I have to delegate out of limitation, but not out of the least training of observing. So, and they were both self-employed. So, anyhow, I didn't know what I was doing, and blah, blah. 6 minutes in. I think, why did I tell you that? I promised you, I would do this all the time. I go on tangents. I'm trying really hard not to. Dr. Schifferbrains is begging me, rein it in, rein it in, rein it in. Stay on target. Here I go on another tangent. One of my greatest friends in my life, Paul Voss. If you happen to see this, you better, listen, you better get a hold of me, buddy. I called him the Voice. We entertained in schools and radio. It was a classic time in my life. It was just before I started doing stand-up comedy in the city, but only, open mics. You wait online, you hope you can get in, blah, blah, blah. You had to bring people, blah, blah. So anyway, oh no, what did I say? Oh, I don't remember what he said. Oh, that's horrible. Anyhow, it's propaganda. It's the most beautiful propaganda ever. Ever. I have an agenda, and I don't want any legal shit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't. It's all tied in. The legal is just the watchdogs for money of the golden calf. Nothing to do with religion. It's just everyone. You can't serve God and money. You can't. Some of the interpretations is you can't serve goodness and money. You can't. They don't work. When I get into the chapter of why Turn a Frown Around didn't work, that's why. So anyway, this has to be benevolent. There are some countries that you can't get your Social Security check, so to speak, whatever they call it, your retirement check, unless you actually visit somebody. It doesn't work. It's bad. I was there in the Netherlands. I was very disappointed. I was all hyped about it. No way. I saw it in tremendous, like one of the most innovative mental health groups ever. I mean that. They produced the heavy hitters of the, what did we pick it for? Nothing About Us Without Us, and the parity laws, and all of that. The therapists and the professionals and the clients joined hands against the insurance company. But anyway, so hopefully there's something there. Insurance companies. Come on. And we can't have legal. We can't. This has to be a pure thing. It just has to be like everyone bought a pet rock in the 70s. It just did. It was like unified people. Fortunately, they're throwing them at each other, but I'm serious about it. There's always been some movement of goodness. We are the world. And more people just make fun of it because they don't get it. They're driven by the pursuit of greed or prestige, fame, or power. And those are the cancers of any society. And the only thing that can heal that is non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional love. And the only way we can do that is to make sure we get everybody, somebody, a real friend till they die. And the concept there is the first 4 weeks, like I've talked about before, abused dogs. You're finding your way. Do you know how many? I will freak out. Anyway, it's just so disgusting. Just in my own life, forget all the peers. Professionals don't love you. They don't. They're paid to care for you. They are, I hate to tell you, the ones that are more therapists only, or they're kind of, what do they call them, personal coaches. They're prostitutes. They get paid by Medicaid. They're prostitute friends. I'm not saying they don't care. There are prostitutes that are enjoying their job. But the issue is, and I'm not saying that they're happy not to, they really are glad to help. It's in their desire to be maternal, male or female. But the issue is, it's all about, ultimately, they can't do what they really should do for you. I remember one time, I can't say this on tape, but a therapist, when we were starting out with Turn and Frown Around, anyway, did a beautiful thing. But it was illegal, like it's illegal to hide Jews in Nazi Germany. I'll bring that up a lot, because it's just, never mind. I've already said it, and I'm trying to not do that. So we got to get an entire search and rescue. So here's the issue. You have to count the cost. I didn't do that with Turn and Frown Around. I didn't prepare. I didn't think about it. I joke about the fact that I'm really April 4th. I'm such center Aries. I just, Rams is literally, it's hysterical if you watch these films. They just, for some reason, you don't even know why. Like they got possessed. It's not like logical. And they just run to the top of a mountain. I don't know how to get down. So many of them die. It's very sad. Anyway, they have to shepherd these rams. It's just so crazy. And I am too. I'm the guy who, I used to tell jokes. I'm the guy who jumps off the high, if I'm manic out my tuchus, hey, I'm the center of everything, narcissism on steroids. So there's 80 people at this big pool party. Well, I show up like this to begin with, in my clothes. I come in, that big pool party. I'm throwing it. They've been all waiting for me to come. I don't know why no one's in the pool. I go, boom, the first one. And people are shouting something to me, but I ain't really listening too well. I go up to the next one, I pretend, I'm pulling a good Rodney Dangerfield and the triple whoppadoopy, whatever he did in Back to School. So I'm going up there, just like Rodney, ding, ba-dang, and people are shouting, screaming, and I jump into it, whatever. About halfway down, I start realizing what they're screaming. And I go, oh, I forgot to put water in. Anyway, that's the way I run. I start well. I don't finish ever. I don't take any blame for that anymore. I'm too sick. We'll get into that with the podcast. That's not what I'm doing here. But I'm trying to let you know this book is to go, hello! But I want to make sure there's a lot of water. So when this book is to light this friendathon on fire. So I'm going to go through, I don't know how, I think it's going to be 20 hours. I do. But nevertheless, I'm going to go through my life because it'll explain why I'm where I'm at now. But, and people are very interested in that, and I'm glad to share. But I'm telling you right now, you listen to me. I had so much fame. I never had any of that. And I was such a big fish in a small pond. The real Dr. Pat, I think I might have explained to her, I've flown to Russia 3.5 weeks. My daughter said I was never the same. I completely crumbled because I'm such an empathy or whatever it is. I blew out after that. It was nine years to turn a frown around. And I fired myself the first time 10.5 years in. The third stuck. But anyway, and I'm starting now. I really just, wow. Kind of like Forrest Gump. I ran for, I don't know how many days it is exactly, but I ran for 7 years, 2 months, and I think today is 2 days. And maybe 3. But, okay, I stopped running, and I'm not ashamed of any of that. I can't believe I'm still alive. Well, let's get down to do what I never did. And it has to be pure. You can't put new wine in old wineskins. You cannot. Non-judgmental, uplifting, unconditional, sacrificial, Sermon on the Mount, Muhammad showing, toward exactly the Sermon on the Mount. Hello. You go to any of my Hindu friends that are serious about, oh my God, it's so peaceful. Peaceful. Why do you think they're peaceful? Because they know if they're peaceful within, they'll get peace out. All right. So, propaganda. The most beautiful. So, but it's about the podcast. So you'll enjoy. I hope the book is like, okay, great. Like, wow, I don't want any money from this book. I want, this is what I want. I talked about counting the cost. I don't know how many people I need. I don't work well with people. That's the greatest understatement. You ask any of my board members or the 3, I don't know what they were called, but they had to assist me. Like they had to. Like I'm in a mental wheelchair. I tried all of their patients, one more than the other 2. But nevertheless, I'm impossible. I am impossible. I don't deny that. But anyway, I care about the downtrodden. That's all it's about. But it's astounding how, I don't know. So, I need to get, what I did wrong, I know I'm overlapping, so if I don't need to say it, I won't say it. Maybe I'll skip that chapter. We'll see. But what we have to have, what I did wrong with Turn the Frown Around is I put new wine in old wineskins. I actually studied. I don't have a GED, went to 6 schools. We'll talk about, that's definitely another chapter. But I studied corporate. You become a doc. You literally could become an open heart surgeon with Google. It's so scary to me. But anyway, it is. It's funny to me. Guys used to go World Books, and everybody knows would you just buy A, please buy A. I have to eat my family. I'll come back with B tomorrow, and then you get a big deal with a few letters for the price of one. Like, wow. World Book Encyclopedia. Anyhow, so I knew what I had to do, and I did it. We were at a 501c3, a pro bono lawyer, a pro bono accountant, the right amount of board, and I let people like that set it up. And that is the problem. Because even though they were mental health, they were already polluted, but they didn't know it. I can't really blame these people. But I went for it. I set it up. I wanted it. I thought I could take a corporate structure and put compassion in it. That's all. Oh, that's simple enough. It doesn't work. Ever, ever. Ever. Most of the not-for-profits are businesses. It's very sad. It's just disgusting. They just hire people to process Balu. I don't want anybody involved in this unless they've had some kind of broken heart moment for the lonely. Now, we need to prime that pump. So in the beginning, you're just going to have to go for 4 weeks because you're going to go, wow, you feel guilty. You've seen enough rent-a-thons, and you go, okay, I'm done. This guy's just, But that's all I want. But in the beginning, I need some, and this is what I need. I hate it. I hate it. But I guess if I was so in earnest of being some form of a religious missionary of any religion, and I went to a completely different country and culture, I'm going to have to learn their language and the parts of their culture that I don't think defile the religion I'm trying to tell them. So we're in the drenched in Western capitalism, and America is the most independent. We are always the rodeo people. Out of all capitalists, we are the most, like the expression, herding, Herding, cats, CATS. That's why it's so amazing. So, you can swing your leg any which way you want till it hits my tuchus. It's not good. So freedom has to be interpreted through love also. But we're trying to get this going. But I can't get it going. I don't know if I should go faith-based. It just is logical. But I don't want to alienate all the people that just think that's a bunch of coo-to-doo-doo. There's just so much religiosity and formality and committees. The old joke is, if you don't want to get something done, you want to bury something, get to it next year, give it to a committee that is just like, that's their job, okay. And then, can we just break it early? I need people that are like drowning. Like somebody's putting their head under the water and they're just going nuts for air. And so if you have that soul, that passion in the compassion, I just want to start with the most logical, the last first, and the easiest, like fast food, fast compassion. I mean it. It's capitalism. But we got to build the McDonald's. And we have to, Ray Kroc was one of the people I idolized in setting up Turner Frown around. I'm not going to give you his history, but the duplication was astounding. The advertising was astounding, and he did one thing. People, they added on to, he was so big now, he's dead, this, that, whatever. He only had one sandwich. He was no different than an immigrant hot dog guy, and people don't know they had hamburger guys, just like hot dog guys. And, he figured out to duplicate it in capitalism. He understood corporation, which is run just like the military. You can't run compassion that way. Read the Sermon on the Mount. Do read that. The Good Samaritan. Google it. Good Samaritan. Read it, study it, get into it. That's what we're looking for. Good Samaritans. 1 hour a week. Widow's Mite. Google that. Widow's Mite. That's who we're looking for. Total 100% compassion, in compassion, but you don't think you have that. We'll talk about that. That's for the zillion and dillions and billions of ants. But what I'm saying is the propaganda of this first of this book, but this is the propaganda channel. I figured if I die, my life doesn't matter. What matters is the end result of it, which is what you're listening to, at least what I'm interpreting it as. So, I need a nucleus. But these people have to be the exception to the rule. They have to be the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens. I can't work within any system, even the one I created. And it was polluted. It's a bad idea. Blame me. But it's done. Let's get on to ending and eradicating loneliness. But I need to find these people that are like Esther in Purim and read the book of Esther. It's very simple. I tell you, you sit on the toilet, you're done with it. At least you have constipation like me. And I know you guys have constipation of compassion. That's what this whole thing is about. 1 hour a week, 4 hours for a month. I promise you, we're going to flush out enough bitterness so that a little compassion will be like natural, and it'll all come because you just visited somebody you didn't want to visit. But you did it because it was the right thing. And 4 weeks later, believe me, compassion is the most wonderfully addictive substance because it's an intangible. And it's instant gratification. And, because when you sit at the side of a grandma or someone who's insane, and you didn't understand a word they said, but as you're going, they go, "You're coming next week, right?" Or they're waiting by the door like, it's just disgusting. We wait and look, wait and look, wait and look. It's true. I've been on both sides of this so horribly, both. Lonely and trying to end loneliness. I'm going to end here. Just going to end here for this segment. It was a county, I think. I don't know. It could have been great. I don't know which one it was. We got volunteers. I called them the Green Berets, but they're the Navy SEALs. These kids were or adults, or whatever. They said, listen. People die for hate. We're willing to take a risk for love. We ain't suing nobody. I mean, they could have actually then, but the point is that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm doing this all the time. I'm doing all these shows and then visiting. That was my day. I'd go do it. I'd visit before the show, do the show, continue to visit, and try to bring as many people with me to visit. And I'd make them part of the show if that made them feel good. But anyway, and these were very normal people, professional people, alert, and just as sick as me. And they didn't have my dad, they didn't have Elizabeth, who was my mom. But anyhow, I go visit. It's about 20, 30 people on this. You can't leave this ward. It's pretty high. It is high security. So I'd end up visiting. I tried to visit the whole ward. But one-on-one. But I'd always have 1 or 2 that actually, on their paper, would be saying, "Oh, he's coming to visit, blah, 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 blah." I swear. May my father and you rot in hell if I'm lying or exaggerating. So there's always, every ward is the same. It's just literally like dogs looking out the window or scratching at the door because they know that, wow. So anyway, there was this always very backward, sweet man. He was short, though. That's what I remember. Always just wore a T-shirt and whatever he had on his pants. It was always a T-shirt. I have no idea his name. But anyhow, so I go to him. So I've been visiting other people. I realized, like everyone, but I don't know. I was like, oh my God, all right. I'm going to say just 10 minutes longer. I try to convince myself, step like on these things. This is going to be 22 minutes. All right. So I sit with him. This is exactly what happened. I'm trying not to cry. I want your conscience to make you cry, not some form of manipulative stories. 1 hour a week for someone that is nobody. And here's an example. I used to tell this story during Turn the Frown Around, so I might as well tell it now. So I was real upbeat. And I say, hey, so what do you do here all day? He said, I used the word. He goes, I wait for visitors. And he did talk like that. I said, oh, that's good. I said, well, who comes to visit you? And I swear on Yudi's grave and Elizabeth's grave, he looked down. I don't need to reenact it. He just shook his head. This came out of the Cuckoo Nest movie. This is real. He said, nobody. Really? What crime did he commit? Other than be born mentally ill, abused, and now he's alone. Is that right? Is that fair? He's locked away. He's a leper of society. Can't you 1 hour a week? 1 hour.